Music, it's something that's always been in my life in every possible way. Even when I don't feel good about myself or good about the music I make, it's there. It's yeah, it's something I can't run away from. I didn't start making my own music on Ableton until I was 21 or 2. I'd played piano when I was a child, and I really loved it, but I was always aware of my limits because I'm not a great pianist. Just because I love music and I like making it and I can hear it in my head, it doesn't make one a great instrumentalist. And when you're a child, especially if you're from a not musical family, there's not much you can see as a way of musical self-expression other than to play an instrument well. So I gave up on that very quickly. I became a very angsty teenager. But I was always listening to lots of music obsessively. When I was 22, I finally got so tired of not, trying to pretend that I didn't want to make music. You know what, so what if I fail? I'm just going to try it. Even when I don't feel good about myself or good about the music I make, it's there. It's yeah, it's something I can't run away from. And I don't want to, so yeah. I mean, actually I have been. I've been so procrastinating on my album. And my wife actually called me out on it. She was like, "You're not writing music right now. I see you playing Tetris on your phone all the time." I was like, cry. I was like, this is true. And then so I started writing again recently. I'm not like my good friend TSVI who wakes up in the morning, eats breakfast and just sits down at Ableton every day. I psych myself out. If I think about something too much, I get intimidated by it. So I have tried having external studios. It doesn't work because I kind of go oh, I have to go to the studio tomorrow, and when I go to the studio tomorrow, I should get here by this time and I should finish this much. And I'll be like, oh, I missed my train. That's it, my whole day is ruined, you know. And so I realized, it took me so long to learn this, but I have to kind of make it non-intimidating as much as I can. So I'll be like, I need to cook some lunch, and while the pot is bubbling away, I'm going to add this little thing to a track I thought of. And usually if I ease myself in like that, I'll be working on it 4 hours later without realizing. You know, like the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. I am the jack. I am not a master of anything, I'm just a jack. I released my last EP, which was my 4th EP in 2021, called Grotto. It was a 5-track. And then after that I felt, okay, I want to write an album. I want to make a longer body of work so that I can put lots of little weird interludes in it. And it would be just one big work. I want to show what I'm capable now as a producer. My artistry in one work. That was intimidating enough that I'm still struggling with it. I wanted to be one circular piece of work. I'm slowly getting my answer that I have to just get into my ideal sound world where there is no listener, no audience. It's just me. It's just me. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, I don't care. And I think that's the only way I can finish this album. I went to music school after my first bachelor's degree. And you can guess the amount of mental illness in music schools, right? And the counselor, therapist, oh, there's this track, and I remember crying to my therapist about this. I don't think I could make that sound. What's the point in trying to make a music if I can't make the music I want to make? it's like such a black and white way to think about it. You either have it or you don't. You have the sound or you don't. You can make the sound or you don't. It's not that simple. Half the stuff I make comes out of accidents anyway. So I always tell myself, it's okay if this Ableton session doesn't lead to anything. You don't have to have produced something by the end of the day. I'm sure it works for some people. I say, this doesn't have to do anything, just play with it, just have fun with it. I have to constantly remind myself to return to the origin of why I make music, which is that I want to hear this thing. And that's all I have to care about. I can't think of something as grandiose and larger than life as I need to finish a release. I need to produce something that proves my worth as an artist. I have to let go of all of that, and I just have to say, I want to hear this thing. Let's try to make it so I can listen to this thing and I'd enjoy it. That's my strategy. Yeah. My setup is very simple. It's barely changed since the first day I started using Ableton, which is that I have my laptop, very simple audio interface. The only additions I've had since are Push 2. I don't even use this all the time. I use it for when I'm performing live, and when I use it for production, I mainly use it as like a physical input of MIDI. And as you can see, I like little trinkets. It drives my wife insane, but I just like having all these little things I collect. I love memorabilia, so I just keep them here. Oh, and my marriage certificate is here. I didn't know that. I found it. And I always have notebook and pen to write down things I need to remember, or like sometimes I write down things for my album, just to me trying to make a hermetic sigil. I can't work in a space that I think is ugly. Like, I really want things to be pretty, or like at least to my taste. I also have, like, my friend made this for me, and I thought maybe I could how do you say, cast myself a spell so I can like concentrate better. I try to like establish little rituals, kind of like superstition. So like if I light this and it smells good here, then I will focus. I don't really know if it's worked so far, but I try. This is currently the second track of the album, after the first melodic, rich tonal opener. This would be the track that introduces percussive elements that will follow for the rest of the album. It's just all these percussive things that I wanted to hear, but I also wanted it to extend beyond beats and percussion by recording a completely wet signal of the perc, exporting that, layering it with the MIDI perc arrangement. You'll see what I mean. It's my drum rack, which are mostly samples I made or found in sample packs, but I tend to like transpose most of the percussion hits. This is what I made first, and then this audio file here is just this exported, but with a lot of effects on top. It's so processed that I think it barely serves as a percussive beat. It's just kind of becomes texture, even though the origin of it was rhythm. play. Like, it sounds very far away. It doesn't really have like punch, but I wanted it to be in the background. I also wanted to make sure that, just to further erase its identity, original identity as a percussive track, I have parallel compression on it, so that this sound I really like it when percussion stops being percussion, or something melodic becomes like more powerful as a rhythmical device. Something textural adds like rhythmic interest, and so on and so forth. So instead of making 4 different elements, I made one, and I like I mutilated it to this. And then I also really believe in, once I have a lot of element and it feels really full, I take it away, because you always need that negative space to fully appreciate everything that actually comes in after the absence. This is yet another sound I found on freesounds.org, my favorite website in the world. I don't even remember what this original sample is, but I know that I chopped it up, reversed a lot of it, changed the speed of a lot of it, and then I re-exported it out. And I don't even make sure it's on beat, because I like it when like parts of a track has its own mind. And because I think this is a very sonically quite a simple track, it's mostly just percussion, even if it's edited in a weird way. I think having a lot of things that happen outside the beat, unpredictably, it's not hyperpop, it's not like so maximal that you get numbed out. And this is actually a part of a sample pack I made for Loopmaster a few years ago. But of course, I feel like a fraud using my own sample pack without changing it, so I have warped it and transposed it. So I'm not just using my own sample. After the track like starts turning and it like kind of unravels a bit, I needed to like tighten the knot on it again. And for me, something steady like this happening every triplet beat is like the core of it, so that everything else around it can fall apart, but it still maintains this core.